Good morning. Last week I took you through my journey through the healthcare maze, quagmire, so to speak. It was a nightmare, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad that I stood up for myself, for my husband. I'm glad that I called the doctors out for overbilling, for not coding visits properly, not coding blood work properly. I'm glad I did it because I learned so much. And I'm a curious girl. And when I learn, I pass my knowledge the things that I have acquired into my brain, I share it with all of you. So this show is going to be lessons learned from my adventure through the rabbit hole that is American healthcare in 2019. I got a comment from a viewer on YouTube, and she said that recently she fired her doctor as well because the doctor wasn't listening to her. That's lesson one. If you are seeing a doctor and the doctor is not listening to you, there's your sign. If you walk into a doctor's office and you say, I don't want prescription drugs, there's got to be an alternative, and the doctor says point blank, I don't believe in supplements. The doctor is married to pharma, big prescription drugs. There's your sign. You need a new doctor. You do. You need to interview a doctor. You need to say, I don't want scripts. If there's some other form of treatment I can have that doesn't require big pharma drugs with their horrific side effects. We figured it out. All you need to figure out alternative treatments for what ails you, what your doctor says is wrong with you, you need the internet. That's all you need. The phone, the tablet, the computer. Look it up. Doctor says you have this. Look it up and see if there are alternatives. Okay? I will tell you that diabetes, there are alternatives to prescriptions. I know this for a fact. My husband lowered his A1C by 6 points in 3 months without prescriptions because he was taking the prescription, made him feel like a cancer patient, made him feel horrible. So he went to the internet. And if you think supplements are expensive, well, let me ask you this. Go into your pantry right now. Do you have cinnamon in your pantry? Most of you do. Cinnamon. Sprinkle it in your coffee. Sprinkle it over your whole grain cereal. Sprinkle it over your whole grain toast, whatever you're eating. Cinnamon lowers your blood sugar. It's a beautiful spice, ground cinnamon. As long as you don't put it in a cinnamon bun, like Cinnabon, cinnamon, pure cinnamon right here. Everyone probably has it in your pantry. It's not expensive. It lowers your blood sugar. Ginger is another spice. Ground ginger, fresh ginger. I don't use fresh ginger because it's a pain in the ass to peel. But ground ginger lowers your blood sugar. And here is the magic drug. The magic one. It's magic. It's a spice. It's called turmeric. This is turmeric. You see the yellowish orange color? Now, I will give you this. If you get it on your counters, you better wash it off right away. It can stain. But this is magic. And it's not just for diabetes. It lowers blood sugar. But here's something else it does. It is a digestif, if you know what that means. It helps with digestion. As I have told all of you, I have irritable bowel syndrome. And I know this because I Googled it. I have never had a colonoscopy or an no doctor has ever said, Miss Luciano, you've got irritable bowel syndrome. I know I have irritable bowel syndrome. And I know what causes it. And I know I have irritable bowel syndrome because I Googled it. I Googled the home remedies, things that are easy to get without a prescription, without all the nasty 16-foot snake up my ass. I don't have to do that. Turmeric, by the way, when I put turmeric, and I'll tell you how you use turmeric anywhere you want. We sprinkle it in our soups. When we have soup, I made a turkey breast the other day. I sprinkled it on the turkey breast. I put it on fish when I cook fish. It's delicious, first of all. But even if you don't like the taste, you can still use it, and you can mask the taste with other spices like basil or oregano, and you'll never know the turmeric's in there, but you will know when you eat something that used to make your bowel irritable, and it isn't irritable anymore. I've done it. It works. I'm going to start carrying this in my purse when I go out to eat, and whatever I order in a restaurant, I'm going to sprinkle turmeric on it. It's magic. Lowers the blood sugar and helps with your digestion. You have acid reflux, you put turmeric on your food, and all I'm saying is this is me. I don't have any issues when I use turmeric. Cheap, simple, easy, and no side effects, by the way. Now, I want to put a disclaimer out here right now. I am not a doctor. I am not telling any of you not to see a doctor. What I am telling you is to talk to your doctor. Because here's the problem with doctors, especially in my hometown. They're not the masters of their universe anymore. They are not the masters of their domain. They are owned by corporations, and the corporations control them. They control how they give you medical care. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's true. Even these corporations will stop a doctor from changing jobs. They will tell the doctor, you are too valuable to this practice, even if the doctor's name isn't on the practice. They won't let him leave, because if he leaves, he can't take his patients with him. Because the corporation doesn't want to lose the income. So a doctor is told by the corporation he can't even get a new job. The corporation dictates how much time your doctor can spend with you, because he's got to produce. He's got to put billable hours in. So when you go to a doctor that's owned by a corporation, you might want to do some research. Talk to the doctor. Say, look, am I a corporate patient or am I your patient? And who is your loyalty to? Your corporate bigwig bosses who are not doctors and never took an oath, first do no harm? Or are you loyal to me, your patient, your customer? There's your sign. Getting doctors to be honest with you, well, that's a different story. You're going to have to use your little gray cells, as Mr. Poirot always said. And you're going to have to use your instinct, your gut feeling. Is my doctor listening? So if you don't want prescription drugs and you know that your doctor really is into prescription drugs, prescribes for every little thing, there's your sign. Change doctors. Now, let's talk about the loudest door, the squeaky door gets oiled. Here's the problem, and I get it. So you're diagnosed with diabetes, but you're telling your doctor, well, yeah, but, okay, I have diabetes, I get that, but something else is going on. And basically, whatever else is going on, I have leg pains, my feet go numb, I have burning in my legs, I don't know. And the doctor is like, that's from the diabetes. I'll see you in 3 months. Just take the script I gave you and I'll see you in 3 months. The problem is, here's the thing. And I've talked to people who were diagnosed with diabetes and MS in the same year. I understand that if part of diabetes for some people is leg pain or arm pain or whatever, it's easy for a doctor who is in a hurry because he's got to see a lot of patients because his corporate bosses tell him to assume that anything that you're suffering is due to the big thing in the room, the diabetes. But that's not always the case. And again, there's your sign. I understand why the doctor would do it, but once again, it's not always the case. And in my situation personally, it was definitely not the case. First of all, I talked to hundreds of diabetics. None of them, even those who had blood sugar way over the top, real high, they didn't have leg issues. And it's like, wow, okay, something else is going on. Now, could a family doctor have said, well, you know, this is kind of unusual. Maybe we should do an x-ray? No, didn't happen. So here's my second advice to you, my lesson. Talk to other people. Don't be ashamed over a nice dinner with another couple to say, you know, I'm going through this. And lo and behold, we did this. And we were with another couple, and the husband of the other couple said, oh my God, I had the same issues. I went to a chiropractor. Now, see, this is interesting because the new family doctor, when my husband said, you know, my A1C is now way lower than it ever has been. It's good. I still have leg issues. And again, tell your doctor everything, because here's what happened with us. Last April, a year ago this month, my husband started a new job. He used to work from home. When he worked from home, he was up, walking down the steps to get a snack or lunch or a drink, walking up and down the steps. He was moving around. Now he is at a desk 8 hours a day. And that started in April of last year. His leg pain started in September. So think about that. What changed? He always worked out. When he works out, he feels great. His legs don't hurt. When he sits still is when the legs hurt. He told the doctors these things. He told them. Still, it's all diabetes. It's all about the diabetes. Well, turns out it's not. And then, of course, you Google it, and the worst case scenarios come up. So the second doctor, the new doctor we went to, he said maybe we should get an EMG. Now, an EMG is a not so comfortable test where they stick needles into your muscles and test your nerves to see how they're responding. Problem with the EMG, remember I told you the Affordable Care Act pays to diagnose you, never pays for anything else? Well, that's the truth. So we did everything right. We got the code. We called the insurance company. Turns out this EMG thing is 100% at our expense. The insurance won't pay anything. They'll put it toward our deductible. And it would cost us $750 to $1,000 out of our pocket for this test. Problem with this test is, if you are having this EMG done, and at the time of the test you're not experiencing, because it's not a constant thing, the burning, the numbness, the EMG is going to come back that there's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with you. And then, of course, there's the scary thing. EMGs test for ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. That's a death sentence. So now we're scared. I'm terrified. My God, my husband might have ALS. But he doesn't. He doesn't. So here's the interesting part. So we were faced with, does he do this EMG? Do we pay $1,000 for a test that is not going to cure anything and may not even diagnose anything? Or, well, let's just see what happened. What happened is, on a Sunday, my husband went online, found a chiropractor in our area, scheduled the appointment on a Sunday for last Tuesday. Now, remember what I told you about the family doctor, Dr. Cotter, who overbilled us for 15 minutes and a writing of a prescription, and I'll see you in 3 months? $380 for 15 minutes of this guy's time. And he did nothing for my husband. My husband had to research everything. I researched everything ourselves. This chiropractic visit, an hour and a half, full x-rays, x-rays of his neck and his lower back, x-rays, electrolysis, because guess what we found out? Pinched nerve in the neck, which, by the way, I have as well. Many of you have it. Pinched nerve in neck and lower back is out of alignment. This is what's causing the leg pain, the leg numbness, not a diabetes, not anything else, nothing that requires an EMG for $1,000. So this chiropractic visit lasted an hour and a half. Guess what the bill was? $105. And that includes the x-rays and the treatment. Wow, right? Wow. The guys with the MDs and the corporation hanging over their heads, pulling their strings, they overbill. This is the best care that we have received from a medical professional. And how sad that because medical doctors probably never recommend a chiropractor because, again, that takes money out of their pockets. And they don't get their farm cred because there's no pharmaceutical drugs being prescribed here. So you see where I'm going. Of course, they're not going to say maybe you should see a chiropractor. You will never hear a medical doctor say that unless they really care about you and think that a chiropractor can help you. I am so relieved right now, I got to tell you. Because now, yes, you do have to go to a chiropractor several times. My husband went back last Thursday for another treatment. That was $60. They tell you in advance what it's going to cost. But also, you want to talk about all the education the medical doctor, Dr. Cotter, claimed to my insurance company he gave my husband in 15 minutes. Well, this chiropractor, for much less money, gave my husband exercises to do here at home to help to make the treatments work better. And eventually what's going to happen, and I do have experience with chiropractors. I've been to them for my sinuses and for something I had with my wrist. It always works. After several treatments, my husband will go on what they call maintenance, where basically he'll be doing his exercises at home and he'll be getting a treatment maybe every month. And then if things start to act up again, he will go in at least once a year to make sure he's still in alignment. But again, this is the cure. Or at least it's a way that I can get my husband back. If anyone in December had bothered to mention, go see a chiropractor, think about this. December was a long time ago, almost 6 months. And my husband's been suffering. Not with diabetes. He never actually had any illness, any physical issues because of his diabetes. It was all because his back is out of alignment and he has a pinched nerve. And that, my friends, is something all of us will experience. As we get older, as we are more sedentary, we sit at a desk, we hunch over when we type. I do that. After he came home from the chiropractor, my husband said, oh my gosh, my neck doesn't crack when I move it anymore. Just one treatment. He already felt better. After 2 medical doctors, all these bills, over $400 out of pocket in medical expenses, all my husband actually needed to feel better was a chiropractor. Imagine that. Sure, he needed to lose weight. He needed to, watch his A1C. He will need to do that. But remember this, my friends, the A1C was not what was causing him to not feel good. And when you go to your doctor, don't you go and expect to feel better after the visit instead of worse? Like with that metformin my husband was on, and he actually said felt like a cancer patient. You don't expect to feel worse. And if you do, that means something was missed and there's something else wrong. And you, my friends, sadly enough, in America healthcare today, you're the ones who have to do the investigation. See, I believe that doctors should be like Sherlock Holmes. They should be curious as to why you have symptoms that you have. They should be detectives, but they don't have the time anymore. They don't have the time to think outside the box, to say, yeah, I don't understand why you're having this. Let's figure it out together. You don't hear that anymore from medical doctors, and it's so sad, and it's scary. Now, the lessons learned, please understand that my husband's a very private person, and by sharing this story, I'm in some trouble. He's not going to be very happy with me. However, I believe that the comments I've already gotten, the messages I've gotten thanking me for doing this show are worth it. I want to remind you that even though I lost the appeal, fighting the overbilling and making others aware of it, making the insurance company aware, this family practice is overbilling you. And when doctors overbill insurance companies, all of us suffer. All of us except, of course, the doctor and the insurance company. Because what happens is our insurance premiums go up. The insurance companies start cutting the amount of money they pay to the doctors because they know they're being overcharged. And what happens is you and I, the customers, we get to pay the copays. We get to pay whatever the doctor expects to get to continue their lavish lifestyle. And the insurance says, we're not paying it. And the doctor says, well, I need my money. Well, guess who ends up paying? You got it. You and me. The customer. Because the doctors aren't going to cancel their country club membership. And the insurance company is not going to overpay a doctor who they know is charging too much for a procedure or an office visit. And we are the ones that suffer. So take that lesson. If you take nothing else from these shows, take that. Never be afraid to question a bill. I know it's time consuming, but don't be afraid to do it. Let them know that you're not one of these people that's going to blindly pay any bill that comes just because there's MD next to it. Or they say, if you don't pay this in a certain amount of time, we're sending you to collections or we're not going to treat you anymore. No, you call, because the second you call and tell them, I'm disputing this bill, they can't send you to collections for it. I'm appealing the bill. I'm not paying one dime of it until I get the appeal back. They have to stop. They are not allowed to send you to collections. If you let them know, usually you need to do it in writing. I've done it over the phone and through email, but let them know, I'm disputing this bill. You're not getting my money. And also remember that if you do appeal a bill and you are lucky enough to win and you've already paid the bill, that practice, whoever you paid the bill to, they owe you your money back. Period. But don't be afraid. Don't think that, like on Seinfeld, you're going to get problem patient put next to your name. If anything, they will be a little more careful in the future because they know you're looking out. You watch. You go over every explanation of benefits. You go over every bill. You ask questions ahead of time, which, by the way, is your right. Before you even walk into a doctor's office, you can say, what's the code? What are you coding this visit as? How much am I going to have to pay? You get on the phone with your insurance company. This is the code the doctor's telling me. And if you don't like what you hear, walk out. Walk out. Say, I guess I have to find a new doctor because you're not coding this bill properly. But you have that right as a customer. I don't like the word patient because it requires, it's like patience. Now, you are a customer. You pay so your doctor can live the lifestyle they've chosen. You're paying their salaries. You're paying their staff's salaries. And now you're paying a corporation too, who doesn't give a shit about you because they don't know anything about you. They see you as a number and a dollar sign. So remember that. Again, some people, even my own husband, have been critical, saying, I don't know why you fought this so hard. It was a $50 bill. Well, first of all, I love my husband. If I didn't love my husband, I wouldn't have worried about it. Oh, well, whatever. But I care so much about my husband. He's a wonderful person. He didn't deserve this treatment from the first doctor. And he didn't deserve to suffer pain because these doctors don't think past farm drugs, which my husband does not want to take and is not taking. I am very relieved to know that I'm going to get my husband back. The husband I had on December 17th, 2018, before he saw Dr. Cotter and all this nightmare started. I'm going to get him back. I'm so proud of him for doing the hard work, the restricting his diet, working out, lowering his A1C without drugs, without prescription drugs. I'm proud of him. Good guy. And now he's going to be a good guy in perfect health again. But not thanks to any medical doctor. The reason that my husband is on his way to good health again, to feeling like himself again, is because he did the research. We asked questions. I asked questions. We all did the research. And we ended up finding the solution. It's just sad that it took all these months to do it. So this has been my very personal journey. And I thank you all for taking the time to listen to it. I hope that in some way I have helped some of you, or at least given you something to think about the next time you make that appointment with your family doctor, who maybe should take family out of their title if they are owned by a corporation. And the only way you will ever know for a fact that you are getting the care you deserve is when you use something that all of you have and is very important. Your voice. Your voice. Ask questions. Talk. Interview. Investigate. And yes, Google. Don't get freaked out. Just Google. Chances are you do not have MS or ALS or bone cancer. Keep scrolling. You'll find out what's wrong with you. I diagnosed myself with IBS. And I know I'm right. And I know how to take care of it myself without a prescription, without all the fancy, expensive tests. I'm doing great. My husband's doing great. And while so many people come on and say, oh, thank you to the doctors, we can't thank the doctors because the doctors had very little to do with it. We need to pat ourselves on the back, thank ourselves for using our brains and our voices and our fingers on the computer. I hope this show helped a lot of people. Again, please, I'm not a doctor, so don't do anything that I have suggested without actually talking to your doctor. But at least you can give it a try. I mean, cinnamon isn't going to hurt you. Turmeric isn't going to hurt you. Ginger isn't going to hurt you. So see, when I tell you to do something, I am actually taking the oath that doctors are supposed to take. First, do no harm. And by the way, all of these things, the cinnamon, the turmeric, they can be used in accordance with prescription drugs if you're on prescription drugs. And you're happy with your drugs, that's fine. But it never hurts. It's just a spice. From what I've read, it doesn't cause harm to anyone unless you're allergic to it. And that's something you would have to figure out on your own. But think of the drugs that you're prescribed. If you are allergic to this drug, well, you don't know you're allergic to it until you take it because you've never taken it before. So just some alternatives for those of you who, like me, are mistrusting of Big Pharma and the drugs and all those side effects that are sometimes worse than the illness they're supposed to maintain or cure. So, have a good rest of your day, everybody. Thank you again for taking the time to watch my show. And Thursday, we're coming to the end of this season. Thursday, I am actually going to do a show. It will be about healthcare again, but it'll be about a little bit something different. It's going to be called The Fear of Socialized Medicine. So you can think about that until Thursday. Have a good day, everybody. Political Paula is out.